Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, to our religious leaders, our brothers and sisters in the audience, to the family members of the deceased, I want to extend my condolences. Inshallah, Allah bisabirkum ya Rabb. We are going to see ourselves visiting this hall fairly frequently. We have done so for the last year. Today there are services for 12. Tomorrow there are services for 24. In Palestine, they're saying the death count is close to 200,000. In Lebanon, we've already reached multiple thousands, and there will be thousands to come. The question I often get is, what is our responsibility here in the city of Dearborn? And I think I want to highlight that we do have a responsibility. Firstly, help is not being sent to our family in Lebanon and Palestine by this government. Let us start there. The help will come from those of us within this room. You have the responsibility to speak truth. You have the responsibility to share, whether it's via WhatsApp, social media, and taking a stance against the injustices that have been happening for 7+ decades. You have a responsibility to assist with the family and friends in whichever way that you have possible. If it's donating a pair of shoes, a jacket, an article of clothing, that is enough. $1, $5, $10, that is enough. And I'll tell you why. When the war in Ukraine happened, Western Union did away with all of its fees for 6 months. We met with Western Union. We asked for the same consideration they gave to the Ukrainians. Would you offer those in Lebanon? And the response back was absolutely not. You will pay all the fees, for we can't suspend them. So it's not only in governments that see us as second-class citizens, even the major institutions who refuse to offer the same sort of assistance that we would ask in order for us to help our friends and family and loved ones. That is your first responsibility. Second responsibility. Overseas, the largest terrorist force across the region, the Israeli force, the Israeli government, is killing our people regardless whether they pray with their hands up or their hands to their side. They're killing them whether in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Palestine. Yet oftentimes when I read the comments on our social media, I see us in this city, in this community, finding ways to divide ourselves. Some celebrating the death in certain neighborhoods and certain countries as if that's acceptable. If those who are killing us are unified in our death, in our destruction of our family and friends, why can we not be unified and standing against the oppressor? Standing against the injustice, regardless of whether the bomb dropped in Sana'a, Yemen, or whether the bomb dropped in the Junub in Lebanon. This message is to all the parents in this room, because where I see this happening is amongst the youth. Our youth arguing in coffee shops and downtowns over who's right and who's wrong. And what's unfolding today, there is nobody who's in the right. There is nobody who's winning. We're all losing right now. Each and every single day we all wake up trying to understand who from our family, from our friends died today. Whose funeral will we attend? To whom must I offer the Fatiha? That is what's happening. So we have a responsibility to be unified. And in unification, I am not saying you must agree with each and every single person across this community. But there is an ethics to disagreement. This was taught to us. This was taught to us not only by our Prophet ﷺ, but also by our Ahlul Bayt. Disagree with somebody's stance. Disagree with somebody's endorsement. Disagree with somebody's statement, with somebody's policy position. But do not attack the individual personally. Do not attack their family. Do not attack their friends. Do not pray for the worst outcome for these individuals, because you will stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, and the lashing of your tongue will have to stand account as to what you said and the actions that you offered. That is our responsibility as residents of this community, as followers of Ahlul Bayt, as Muslims, as human beings at the first and foremost. Those are the messages that I have. I am as tired as anyone within this room. Our friends and family call on a daily basis. I have no solution to offer. We will hold any and every administration accountable. And to those asking what we do to come this election, I'm not here to endorse any single candidate, for no candidate is sharing in the values and morals that we have to offer as a community. The things we want for our children here in Dearborn, we also want for our children back home. And I wait for that candidate to emerge. And so come November 5th, on the day of the elections, the responsibility you have is to vote, but vote with your morals and your conscience at the forefront. When you bubble those names, understand that you're trying to bubble in shape of your morals and your values. That is your responsibility. But understand on November 6th, none of us will come out winners, regardless of who the administration will be. Because the stance as it pertains to the support of the war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet, is not going to change regardless of who the new president of the United States is going to be. That is the one issue, unfortunately, both of the major parties agree on. So understand the responsibilities that we have. At the bare minimum, let us try within the boundaries of this city to be united. Whether it's with our Yemeni brothers and sisters, our Palestinian brothers and sisters, Syrian, Iraqi, Lebanese, whatever it might be, stand united. Because they are united and unified in killing us. At the very least, we can be unified in standing up to the opposition of the killing of all innocent men, women, and children. Please recite Surah Al-Baqarah al-Fatiha. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.